Let's talk about the 9 books I read in June. So I did go through a little bit of a book slump, but I still managed to read 9 books, so I feel like that's a win. So let's just get into the analytics really quickly, and then I'll talk about all the books that I read. My average rating this month was a 3.9, which I feel like is pretty good. I think I had a really good reading month. I even had a 5-star book. And I read 3,431 pages. And then for the genre breakdown, I read 3 romance, 2 fantasy, 2 fiction, 1 mystery, and 1 thriller. Starting with the first book I read in June, I finished Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I honestly feel like I read this so long ago, like it doesn't even feel like I read it in June, but I guess I started it at the end of May and then finished it at the beginning of June, so that's probably why I feel like that. But honestly, I think this one was a really good one to end out spring and like start summer because it gives like spring vibes on the cover. The book is very spring-esque, but it's also wintry, so take that with what you will. But I thought it was fun to read during the spring. And this one actually really surprised me. I didn't know if I'd love it. I just heard good things about it and decided to give it a try. And the beginning, I was worried. I was worried at the beginning. I was like, is it going a little slow? Not sure this is for me. Not sure if I'm gonna get through it. Might have to DNF it. But thank God I didn't, and I stuck through. Once it got to like, maybe like 40, but definitely 50%, I was like hooked and into the book. And I liked the characters a lot, and I liked where the story was going, and I really, really, really liked the male character in this book. He just like was so himself, and he did not care like who knew about it. Like he was just gonna be himself. He was gonna do what he wanted, and he did not care. And I kind of liked it. Like his personality was different. It was like kind of arrogant, but not to a point where it was annoying. Emily is a queen. She's writing her whole own encyclopedia. Like that is crazy, and she's writing them about fairies, all the different types of fairies that exist in her world. She wants to document, write about all of them, and figure them all out. So she's on this, what is it called? Expedition? Like I don't think that's the correct term. But basically she's just out there trying to document, trying to learn all these different fairies. And her little arch nemesis, academic rival, give me a sec, Wendell, our man Wendell, is there to help her, but also he is there to help her, but like she just thinks he's there to like one up her on his own research. So you both do research on fairies and that kind of stuff. So there's that. And then like the small town that they stay in is so cute, and I love the small town vibes, the little fairies they meet. Like it kind of gave Tinkerbell, but at the same time not at all, because these fairies are scary. They have like sharp teeth, sharp nails. Some of them are literally the size of humans. Like you learn all of that in this book, but some of them are a little dainty and cute, and I was like, oh, it's giving Tinkerbell, you know? So very, very eventful. Like things kept happening. There was like one solid plot line, and then there was like other things built on top of that, and I just had a great time. I loved their banter. I loved the guy in this book, and I ended up giving it 4 stars, and I'm so glad I read this, and I really do want to read the next one. Next, I read Between the Lines by Jodi Picoult and Samantha Van Leer, which is actually her daughter. Yeah, I'm screaming. Sorry, I'm excited about this one, even though I rated it lower. Anyways, I definitely want to read more books by Jodi, so let me know what your favorite book is, because she has so many books. I was looking them up, trying to think of a next book. She has so many books, so I need to like narrow that down somehow. I can ask my mom, because I know she's read some more, and then if you guys have any of your top favorites, please let me know. This one was like really cute in like a YA middle school vibe way. Like I feel like if I read this in middle school along when I read like the Selection series and the Match series, like I would have loved this book at that time. But now as a 22-year-old, it did feel a little bit immature. I didn't really care about the love story. Like it just felt insta-lovey kind of vibes, but it was like a cute fairy tale come to life kind of. So basically there is the main character, Amelia. Is that her name? Oh no, I just made that up. Delilah. Where did I get Amelia from? Don't know. Our main character, Delilah, has a favorite fairy tale, which is actually like a very long book. It took me a while throughout the story to realize that this fairy tale is not like a picture little kid book of like 10 pages. It is like a full-fledged book. That wasn't comprehending to me at the beginning. So I was shocked once I realized it was actually a long book. I was like, wow, she knows a lot about this character in like 10 pages. Anyways, that's irrelevant. She loves this fairy tale book, and she brings it with her everywhere she goes. She reads it so many times, and then one day, the main character, Oliver, from the fairy tale, just starts speaking to her. Imagine the shock. you would feel if you're reading a book and the characters start speaking to you. Sounds so crazy and far-fetched, but it's happening to Delilah. And he tells her that he wants to get out of this fairy tale. He's trapped in there. He doesn't want to stay. So they start planning his escape from this fairy tale world, and there's a lot of trial and error. Something happens at the end that kind of shocked me. And I loved the ending. It was different than what I expected. And I liked it. And it was cute and wholesome and sweet. It just wasn't like a really crazy book to me, or like one that I think I'll think about ever again, or like want to reread. So I ended up giving this one 3 stars, but it was really cute if you're looking for like a Disney Teen Beach movie vibe. That was like this. Oh my gosh, my Target sticker is still on this book. I wish they would stop doing this, because like they're always 20% off. Like, we don't really need the sticker anymore. Just show us that, because it's confusing and they're always on sale. So I would just assume, you know, we don't need these stickers anymore. Okay, great, I missed. But moving on. I actually listened to Tomorrow, but then I liked it so much that I got the physical copy recently at Target. This one, I don't even know how to explain it to you, because it is so much wrapped into one. Like, yeah, you can say it's about 2 friends, childhood friends, that make a video game, and like that is true, but it's also so much more than that. Like, there is just so many big themes in this book. Like, you watch these 2 people grow up together, you watch their friendship, you watch their fights and their like relationship go, you know, and it's just so good. I laughed, I cried, I did all the things during this book, and it was just so, like, it was so entertaining in a way that like I wasn't expecting. I was a little bit scared when I started this book, because it's just like fiction, I think. I'm pretty sure it's just like fiction, like just generalized fiction, and I was like, I don't know if this is gonna be for me. Like, if there's not romance, like if it's not romance or a thriller, like I don't know, you know. So I was a little bit worried, but I actually really liked it, and there is a little bit of romance in here, by the way. It also depicts like female struggles and the things that the main female character, I'm terrible at names, guys, like we shouldn't be surprised at this point, but if you're new here, hey, I can never remember people's names. As soon as the book is closed, their names have left my brain. Oh, Sadie, the main female character in this book, like goes through so much, like not only in her career but in her life. Like, she has so many struggles because she is in at the time, a very large male dominated field of like computer graphic design and like video game design. So she goes through a lot of struggles with just having to figure out where she fits in this world where she can create video games. And she wants to do it with her best friend Sam, which they met in childhood. Actually, they met at a hospital because Sam had a really bad accident as a child and spent a lot of time in the hospital, and Sadie's sister was a cancer patient, I'm pretty sure, and so she was in the hospital a lot too, and that's where they met and started playing video games together. And then you watch them grow up, go to college, get out of college, start developing video games together, and you just learn about their life and their relationships. But like I said, it's just so much wrapped in one, and I feel so heavily for these characters. Like, they feel real to me. Like, I feel like I should be able to go play the video game that they described and created in this book, and it's like not boring in like that part. So if you're like, you know, video games, coding, like it's not boring at all. Like, they describe the video games, but they don't really go into detail on like, you know, the code. So I just thought it was really good, and it's really hyped up for a reason. I think you should read it if you haven't, even if you're not sure about the genre or whatever. Just give it a try. You could listen to the audiobook like I did. It makes it go by a little bit faster, but trust me, like at one point I wanted to slow down my audiobook speed, which I never want to do, because I wanted to like let this sink in and like let it last longer, because I was obsessed with it. The ending is just beautifully wrapped up, and I could go on and on, so I'm going to stop. But I gave it 4 stars. Moving on. Then I read Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. This is my second book by Abby Jimenez, and I do have to say, I love it. I love Abby Jimenez. I am an Abby Jimenez lover, stan. I need to read more by her. Also, I think this one is part of a series technically, but I saw you could read them out of order. So that's what I did. I've only read this and yours truly. So if this is a series, please let me know the other books in the series, or like, I don't know, just let me know what other Abby Jimenez books I should read. Anyways, I read this one, and this one was really, really good. It was like the first summer romance I've read this summer and really kicked off my summer great and got the vibes rolling. And I love how Abby Jimenez talks about mental health so much. I hope she does it in every single book that she ever writes, because I will continue to read them and eat them up. And she just has a way of like connecting and making real people and like real characters and like make them feel so real because of their mental struggles and like their past and like maybe some of their trauma. It just makes them feel so real, and I can connect to them more. Well, not through like trauma, but like, you know, mental health and stuff. So I just really enjoy reading about them, and they're like full on adults and they can communicate. Shocker. And it feels just so refreshing reading it. Like, I can't explain the feelings that I get when I read her books. It's just so unmatched. And I really did like the concept of this book. So we have Emma, right? Okay, let me connect this first. Yes, Emma. I just said connect because I saw the word connect and I didn't even mean that word. We have Justin, who makes a Reddit page post on the Am I the A-hole Reddit page. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's just like a thing where people go on there and they're like, am I the a-hole because I did blah, 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 you know? He posts on there and he talks about like his roommate and like their drama and like him naming his dog after his ex-roommate slash best friend because he did something really terrible to him. I can't even remember at this point. And then he also mentions in the Reddit page that he has like this thing, kind of like a curse, but it's like just this weird occurrence that keeps happening where he will date someone pretty consistently, and then once they break up, that girl that he had just dated will then go on to marry the next person she dates and like find her soulmate. Like, they always end up married right after they date him, and he's like, okay, kind of weird. So he just mentions that in there. And then we meet Emma, who is a registered, is it RN? No, she's a traveling nurse. Maybe it is RN, I don't know, but she's a traveling nurse, and she sees this Reddit page and she's like, oh my god, that exact same thing, curse, whatever you want to call it, happens to me. Every single guy I date, next he's married and happy and in love, and I never get to have that. And so she's just like, I'm just gonna DM him and be like, oh, by the way, like that exact same thing happens to me, how crazy, haha, you know. Then they start chatting, and then they come up with this plan where they're like, okay, if this is happening to both of us, theoretically, if we date and then break up, the next person we date will be our soulmates for both of us. And so they start devising this plan to like meet up and go on so many dates, because technically like they need to figure out the correct way in which to date and then to break up. And they're going to spend the summer together, and they're going to go on 4 dates. They're going to kiss, and then they're going to break up. So 4 dates, a kiss, and a breakup, and then boom, curse ended. Is that what it's called? Curse broken? Curse broken. And then they'll go on to meet their soulmates. And it's just really cute how that starts, and I thought that was unique. And Justin is so perfect. He's perfect. As a type A Virgo, Justin has my heart, because not only does he send like he sends like surveys to Emma before their first date to like get the vibes right. He's like, what do you want to go do? What do you want to eat? What type of shirt should I wear? Like, what type of activity do you want to do? And then it's like, should we hug or do a handshake when we meet for the first time? Like, all this stuff. And I'm like, that would just settle my anxiety. And I love that. And then after dates, like, he sends like a follow-up survey, and it's just so cute. Like, he is so cute, and I just love that. And I just really liked it. Like I said, I did. I gave it 4.5 stars. It was really, really close to a 5-star. I just didn't have the feeling of where I like needed to read it, needed to pick it up as soon as I got home from work. Like, that to me is a 5-star book, like where I can't put it down. This one wasn't like that for me, but I still really, really liked it. And there's a quote at the end of this book, which I'm not going to bore you with now because I've put it on my YouTube twice now, and it's a long quote. But if you haven't read it, it's on page 392. It's like this whole thing. I'll put it here. You can pause if you want to read it. If not, you know. I also talk about this in my reading wrap-up. I read the quote. I talk about it in my reading vlog where I read this book, and between the lines, it was the reading the highest and lowest rated books on my June TBR. So I'm not going to say it again because honestly I don't feel like it, and I don't want to bore you with it. But oh my god, 24 minutes. I've been yapping a lot. But this one, it's just that quote in itself took this book to a 4.5 star from a 4-star to me. So it's everything to me. Like, that kind of love is everything to me, and it was like shown in this book. And it was just really, really good. I could go on and on about this book too. I've had a really good reading month, as you can see, but we need to move on. I kind of need to hurry up because I'm talking so much about each book, but I just have so much to say. So next I read Girl from Widow Hills, which is really, really a surprise read. I won't say why this book got into my possession because I'm filming a reading vlog still currently that this book is in, and some other books. It's a fun reading vlog though, that's all I'll say, so look out for it. And I got this book and I read it. Clearly it's in my reading wrap up, and this just really surprised me. I ended up giving this 5-star. This is the only 5-star of the month, which is so shocking to me. It's about a girl named Arden, but her new name is Olivia because she changed her name when she was an adult, because when she was a child she went through this very, very traumatic accident where she was missing for 3 days, and she was actually found under a drain. Like, she was stuck in a drainage pipe for like 3 days because there's this really bad flood in her hometown, and she used to sleepwalk. So she was just sleepwalking outside her house. So dangerous, like that's so crazy. And then she got swept up in the floods and the rain, and then yeah. So that's what you learn about her as a child, and now she's an adult and she's kind of reinvented herself in order to stay away from like the media and the press of this case that happened to her, because it was very, very popular at the time because the town all rallied together to find her when she was young, and it like got really big and really big in the press. So like it's kind of hard for her to escape it, so she had to change her name. Now she is starting to sleepwalk again, and she's like, what the heck, I haven't sleepwalked since this accident. And then one night she's sleepwalking and she wakes up and there's a dead body in front of her, and she's like, what the heck, you know, like as anyone would, and she actually freaks out. And then the investigation in that case starts from there, and you're kind of seeing who it is that is dead on her front lawn, why, and you're learning new things about her past, because like I said, past and present kind of. So one chapter will be the present, and then the next little chapter is like usually a page or two will be something from her case in the past. So it's like either news article or like a interview or like the police 911 call transcript, like something like that nature, like evidence from her past. And then you'll get another present chapter, and that seemed really interesting to me. Like, it was a cool way to learn about the past, and I was hooked. I was so hooked. Like, from the beginning of this book, I needed to know what happened, like what was going on. Like, the sleepwalking really intrigued me because I also sleepwalked, I think is correct, but it feels wrong to say. I also sleepwalked as a child, not to this degree. Like, I would literally just walk into my parents' room and like talk gibberish and then go back to bed. Luckily I grew out of that because this book terrified me of sleepwalking, and that's all I'm gonna say. It's so good. Just please read it. Like, I haven't heard like that many people talk about this book, and I was hooked till the very end, and then I was shook. There's someone about to mow my yawn. Oh my god, I cannot speak. Yeah, there's someone about to oh my god, there's someone mowing my yawn. I swear I'm not doing this on purpose. Like, I'm laughing because it's like, okay, there's someone mowing my yawn. Am I okay? There's someone yowing. Why is this a tongue twister? I'm crying. Can you hear the mowing the yard? Oh my god. There's someone mowing the yard. Finally, I'm brought to tears. So I guess I have to come back. And we only have 2 books left, but this is clearly too loud. So I'll be back. I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm back. He has finished mowing the I'm not doing that again. So we can continue. And I realized during that little break, kind of good that we had a break, because I missed a book. And that would have been detrimental, honestly. So before I read Girl from Widow Hills and after I read Just for the Summer, I listened to The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. But this one, I really, really liked it. I give it 4 stars. And I was just like hooked from the beginning. And it was one of those audiobooks that like I just didn't want to stop listening to it. Like, I wanted to continue listening to it so I could finish the book and like figure out what happened, because there's so many twists and turns, and it was so interesting. So we have Belle, who also went through a traumatic event as a baby. So she was found in the car alone, and her mother had been missing. So basically her and her mom were like in a car going somewhere, and then her mom disappeared, and Belle was found in the car like an hour later, maybe less than that, and she was totally fine. But then she grew up without a mom, and so now in the present she's like 18, and there is a documentary crew that is in town to film a documentary on her mother's disappearance. And then lo and behold, they're filming this documentary, and guess who shows up? Walks right to the front door. Rachel Price herself. So that's why it's called the reappearance of Rachel Price, because she had disappeared for like 16 years or something, and now she's back. And now the documentary is like taking a whole different turn. We're trying to figure out like why she disappeared in the first place, because she was presumed dead, or like maybe Belle just thought she was like gonna be gone forever, and then she just shows up in the exact same clothes that she disappeared in years later. That it just kind of explodes from there. Like you kind of figure out why she disappeared, then things are happening in the present that are crazy, and meanwhile there's like a little romance on the side with Belle and the microphone guy, or one of the camera crew of the documentary, and it's just really interesting. And you also like have like a big family vibe, and you're not sure who in the family is suspicious. Like Belle is trying to solve the case, like trying to figure out why her mom disappeared and then reappeared, and she's like, you're kind of seeing it through Belle's eyes and seeing who she thinks is suspicious and then why she thinks they're suspicious, and you see her like opinions flip-flop, and you just learn with Belle what's going on. And I thought it was interesting. I liked the ending. I didn't really expect that ending, but like I also kind of did. I guessed one of the plot twists. But like it was still enjoyable, and I really liked this one a lot more than any other Holly Jackson book that I've read. Okay, so then after The Girl from Widow Hills, I read The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren, which has been on my TBR for months. Actually, I think years. She's been on my shelf for a while, and I'm actually upset that I haven't read it sooner, because I loved it. I thought it was so cute. For some reason in my head, I just thought it was going to be like a cheesy romance, and like probably a 3-star book, and so I just never really like had the urge to pick it up. But I finally put it on my June TBR and read it, and I'm so glad that I did, because like I said, I really liked this book, and it kind of gave me Ali Hazelwood vibes because it's like sciencey. River in this book is a scientist, I don't know the correct one, but he develops this program that can like find your soulmate through DNA matching. So he has like this company, and they're launching like a dating app kind of, to where like you'll send in your DNA, and then they'll run tests, and they'll like with other people's DNA, and then they'll send you matches. And there's different level of matches depending on how many like genes are a match like in your DNA with the other person. So our girl Jessica, is a little bit hesitant to find love. Like she's been going on Tinder dates. She's just like, I'm not really vibing with anyone. And she also has a daughter. I believe she's 7. I don't know. She's a young daughter. And so she's like, I just want to focus on my daughter, like whatever. But her best friend convinces her to send in her DNA. And then guess what, guys? Put in your guesses. Guess who her match is right now. Yeah, Dr. River Pina, the doctor. And then they kind of, before she finds out he's her match, they kind of get off on the wrong foot in this parking garage. She kind of has a bad vibe from him. Like she's got a bad first impression basically. So then she finds out, hey, you guys are matched, like you guys are soulmates. So River's obviously like, oh my god, like this is great for my company, like this would be great PR, like we're about to launch, this would be great. And she's kind of hesitant to like start a relationship with him, like because she has like this bad taste in her mouth for him. And so then they strike up this deal where they're gonna pay her $10,000 a month. Where's that these days? Like that just doesn't happen in real life. But regardless, they're gonna pay her to talk to him, go on dates with him, and like be in the public eye with him, like go on interviews and stuff, like talk shows. Basically PR for his company. She's like, okay, like I'll take the 10 grand a month, you know? So she agrees to it, and then you just kind of watch their relationship develop from there. There's ups and downs, there's drama, and I just really liked this book. It was really quick for me to read. I read it really quick. It was just easy. And there wasn't really like a big miscommunication thing, which like always irks me in books, because like these people are full on adults, like they're in their 30s, so I would have been like annoyed. I thought it was handled well. I gave it 4 stars, and I think if you haven't read this, you definitely should. Then to continue my like summer romance vibes, I read The Summer of Broken Rules, and this one has also been on my TBR for like 2 summers now, maybe. I don't really know, but I keep putting it off. For some reason, I just keep putting it off. But I'm so glad that I finally read it. Again, imagine that. Like, you put a book off, and then you finally read it, and you're like, hey, should have read that months ago. That is me. And if you're looking for like a really cute YA summer romance, like the summer I turned pretty vibes. Also, if you're a Swiftie, yeah, there's so many Taylor Swift references in this book. Like, I really liked that. And it just literally feels like The Summer I Turned Pretty, but a little bit more of like an older vibe. They're still like young teenagers, like almost college age, and like they're definitely like still immature and like learning. Also, there's like grief in this book, which was a really big part of Meredith's character development, which I really liked reading about. So Meredith, she lost her sister Claire in a tragic accident, and every summer her family goes to Martha's Vineyard for like the summer because her whole family has like a huge plot of land. There's like 5 or more houses that her family owns on this like huge plot of land, like on the beach in this small town on Martha's Vineyard, and I loved reading about that. And I recently learned that like the places she was talking about are real. And now I really want to go to Martha's Vineyard. Like, I know that's like a big summer place, like a big vacation spot, but I need to go. That's on my bucket list now. So yeah, so their family has this big complex with all these houses, and you know, and they go there every summer. Well, last summer they did not go because her sister passed away. So this is her first summer back without her sister, and it is bringing up a lot of memories, a lot of sadness. She's still trying to like figure out her life without her sister. Like, she's kind of been in this like fog of like grief, understandably, for the past year, and so she's not really herself, and she's going back to this place that is like so much of her sister. Like, it reminds her, everywhere she looks reminds her of her sister. And they're going for a wedding. So one of Meredith's cousins is getting married, and they're invited to the wedding, so they're going back for the sake of the wedding. And another tradition that this family does every summer is they play a big game of assassin, which is like you have like a target in the family, and you have to like spray them with water, and like once they're sprayed, like you get their target, and then it just keeps going till there's like only 3 or 4 people left. And it's basically like a big old fun game. And Claire, Meredith's sister, is like the reigning, well, was, that's so sad, was the reigning champ. She won so many years in a row, and she like took it so seriously. So this year Meredith's like, okay, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna take it seriously, and I'm gonna win for my sister. And then she meets the groom's stepbrother, Whit, and they kind of get together and make this pact where they're both going to help each other because he knows everybody on the groom's side of the family. And then, of course, Whit is new to this huge family and doesn't know everyone on her side of the family. So they're kind of helping each other with their targets. Like, if they don't know who their target is, they help each other figure out who they are, what their like routine is, so they can get them out and assassin. So they have this pact, and then you kind of just watch this week. It's actually a week. I thought it was like the whole summer, but she's only there for a week. This week of assassin play out. There's wedding events, and I really liked this book. I loved the ending, and I loved all the themes in this book, and it was like a cute, lighthearted summer book, even though there is the theme of like grief. It doesn't leave you feeling sad. It leaves you feeling happy and inspired, and I want to go play assassin on Martha's Vineyard now. And like I said, it's a bucket list vacation spot for me now, and I rated this 3.5 stars. The last book I read was another audiobook. It was The Summer of Songbirds by Christy Woodson Harvey, which I've never read a book by her. I honestly have never heard of this book. I was just scrolling through Libby on available now audiobooks, and I saw this one, and it had summer in the title, so I got it. And I was actually pleasantly surprised. Like, I wasn't really expecting much. So like I said, like, I had never heard of it. So it's about 3 best friends who grew up together, and the summer camp is very special to them. They went every single year, and the owner of the summer camp, June, is actually Daphne's aunt. June discovers that she does not have enough money to continue running the summer camp, and if they don't raise money, then she's going to have to sell it to developers that want the land. and she tells Daphne, and then the three best friends are like, okay, we have to save the summer camp. Like, this is our childhood summer camp. It's June's livelihood. Like, she loves the camp. She doesn't want to sell it, but she's kind of like at a crossroads. Like, she doesn't have the money to continue it. And they're like, okay, we're going to figure out a plan to raise money and save the summer camp. So they start kind of like strategizing ways to save the camp. So you're watching that. And then you learn about all of their lives. Like, Marianne is engaged. Lanier, you learn she's also engaged. And honestly, I was preying on Lanier's downfall the entire book, because you kind of like, in my opinion, I did not think she was a good friend. And like, they're literally like family, like they're sisters, basically. But I love Daphne, I love Marianne, and I want to go to summer camp now. After reading that or listening to it, I need to go to summer camp. It was the perfect summer vibes, but I wasn't really attached to the characters too much, but it was entertaining. Like so much was happening. Also, a thing that I really liked about this book, so they do this thing called hard things, where each month they email each other like a hard thing for the other person to do for them. So like, say I needed to schedule a doctor's appointment, but like I'm really scared to do it, I could email my bestie and be like, hey, my hard thing for you this month is to schedule me a doctor's appointment. And then they do each other's hard things that they don't want to do, which I thought was so, so cute. And I need some friends in my life to do that for me, and we can do it for each other. I just thought that was cute. But yeah, I ended up giving the book 3 stars. Like, it wasn't anything crazy special, but it was still nice and entertaining. I just found Lanier to be so annoying. Okay, so those are all the books that I read in June. Sorry if I just yapped your ear off. I probably edited a lot of it down, so you're probably in the clear. But yeah, I actually had a really good reading month. Like, I actually enjoyed a lot of these books and even had a 5-star book. So, alright, bye! So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you got like a book recommendation, or just like some book ideas, or if you've read some of these, you got to hear my opinions. Thank you so much for watching, and subscribe if you want to see more book videos from me, and you can follow me on my social medias if you want to see more day-to-day updates and like what I'm reading in real time. And I'll see you really, really soon in my next video.